very impressed, shocked, surprised at the ending. The ending's the whole thing's a wild ride. I think that's a blurb on the back. I listened to it, American Tabloid by James Ellroy, on Audible, and they have a cast of characters who enact it. Not reenacted. I believe it's word for word. It's 20 hours long, relatively long for a audiobook. It's part of the USA trilogy. See if I can find the other books involved in that, or I don't know if that's all included in this, but it was really good crime fiction, historical fiction, real characters like, well, it helps if you enjoy or were alive or lived through, or I was born in 63. I was right after that, November 22nd, 1962, right? JFK shot, assassinated. What's Stephen King's book? Oh, fuck. I have it over there. Yeah. Am I losing it or what? 11/22/63. I was born 12/27/63. That means my mother was pregnant with me when JFK was assassinated. She was shopping at a clothing store, and everybody just dropped what they were doing and left the store. Book, this saga doesn't start there. It starts before his inauguration, so we have that, and then he ran against Richard Nixon and won, and all that. I'll put a trigger warning on here because there's a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and sexually explicit in a fun way. I don't mind that type of thing. I don't think it's obscene. It's not that I'm for or against pornography. I go with the judge's opinion on the obscenity trial in Ulysses 1933, where he basically says, I may not be able to explain obscenity, but I know it when I see it. Then he proclaimed Ulysses was not obscene and it was led into America, etc. In that regard, American Tabloid is much more violent, graphic violence, and sexual explicitity. So if that bothers you in any way, or trigger warnings, because I'm going to talk about it. There's one character that's laugh out loud to me funny. This was a buddy read with Britton at Some Okie Dude. Britton is some young dude on Booktube. He's got a great channel, does a lot of interviews. Interviewed me. Interviewed Michael K. Vaughn a few days ago for 2 hours. I can only talk for like an hour. Britton reads a lot, and I'm impressed with these younger guys and gals on Booktube you meet. He's really well read in fantasy, which I'm not at all. He's well read in crime fiction, and he's going to be reading Richard Price, who wrote Clockers and other books, and he's read all of Dennis Lehane. How do you pronounce his last name? Lehane or Lehane? IDK. I lived in Phoenix area, Tempe, like I used to. There's a Poison Pen bookstore, it's called, in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's right here. It's been around forever, and they have all the crime fiction writers go through there. I met and had inscribed copies from Lawrence Block, James Lee Burke, took a photo of him shaking hands with me. I interviewed him for one of my magazines at ASU. Yes, a university. It's another story, another life. I don't know if Ellroy's ever been there, but he's been to Powell's, and I missed it on this tour. We took a tour for that book, which I've not read yet. Well, let me tell you about the one character first. I forget if he's FBI, like under Kemper Boyd is a fictional character, but main character in the book. You know, they talk about JFK and Bobby. JFK was known as 2-Minute Jack by the girls, and Bobby was known to enjoy sex in exotic and different places. You know, take that for what it means. There's a character, I don't know if he's under Kemper Boyd, the FBI guy, or some cop out of Miami, or they go through New Orleans a lot, Boston area, I don't know, but he's got a problem with blowjobs. The problem is he likes them too much. It's almost laughable, and it becomes laughable to his friends and fellow. What's the word I'm looking for? I gotta get a blowjob, and he seems to get one like around the corner, and then but it becomes laughable. Yeah, a lot of like prostitutes, whores, hookers. Sex doesn't bother me. I like to wonder what our world would be like if it was switched between, like, violence wasn't so acceptable and sex was, and violence was like hidden. Learn violence first before sex and guns. You learn and see more. I don't know. Be different. When I think of obscenity and violence, I think of I worked as a kid. Summer sometimes I'd go back to Toledo, Ohio from Kent State, and my dad knew a commissioner, and he'd give me a job on the maintenance crew department of Lucas County, Toledo. They were killer jobs. There was other student employees, and we worked with the full-time employees that worked there for years. They were all alcoholics. Even like bosses, they drink their lunches, and we fit right in. We had access to a lot of things, including files. I stole a copy of a letter that J. Edgar Hoover wrote to the sheriff at the time in 1956. And not only did it have his signature, it had some writing on the front and back, and I framed it. I might still have it. I have one file left in Phoenix. But there was one full-time employee who was older than me, and he made a career out of it. I think he became a CO for the jail there. But we worked at county maintenance and then at the jail, and he loved to show like the new kids or people these suicide photos and all these cop photos, and I glanced at them, and I've seen it. I don't want that shit in my head. That's like that's obscene to me. Or war photos. Hustler magazine back in the 80s had like the real pornography and war photos, and girls, people cut off it, So he would show the suicide photos, and I'd find and say, "Hey, Mike, you creep, why don't you get a one for your wallet?" Who wants to keep looking at that shit? So brutal stuff like that in American Tabloid. But it's like otherworldly. I mean, I know it happened. It's not that long ago in history, 1960s. Just like I know the Wild West happened, and I spent a lot of time at Scottsdale and Tempe, the big cowboy wooden sign, "Welcome to Scottsdale, the most western city." I say all this to say that I don't think I would have lived too long in the Wild West. I used to drink a lot. I would lose cards or be drunk or and wouldn't have the money to pay. Bam, you're dead. Fuck you. That's what this is like too. It's outrageously violent, but in a wild, otherworldly way, and you're brought into it. Just to think those kind of lives, gangster lives, mafia types. Oh my God, crooked politicians. God, where does it end? People, spies and FBI, people cheating on JFK, all his sexual escapades. Wild, wild ride. And let's see, there's a lot of drugs in it. Howard Hughes is in it, and I don't know how much is true. There's one point this is probably the sickest part of the book. He's at blood enemas from Mormon boys from Utah. Yeah. Did you think about that part, Britton? Heroin seemed to be the drug of the time. The underground. Cocaine, not at all in this book. Benzodrine, Bennies. I think it's for seasickness. Dramamine. It was 20 hours long. The ending, the last maybe 5 hours went really fast. It's not detail for detail accurate about the assassination. There's major spoilers in the book with the fictional characters. Jack Ruby is in the book. Jimmy Hoffa is in the book. Lee Harvey Oswald is not heavily in the book. He doesn't really appear to the end, and then, I'll let you find out. Like I said, there's some spoilers in here, and I could relate to other books, but that might tip you off to the spoilers. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Can't make it short. Do some editing. Do I recommend it? Yes. If you're new to James Ellroy, yes. If you're old to James Ellroy, yes. I like it. I like James Ellroy a lot. So thank y'all. Make some comments. Have a good one.